Everybody's smiling today. I wonder why. Yeah, I think I know why. Heck of a night last night. Let's hear it for the Sabres. Go Sabres. A thriller, the likes of which we have not seen in a long time. And all I can say is Sabres are on their way. So what a great place to be the morning after as we continue the great tradition of winning. I wanted to come to Buffalo today here in the Erie County DA's office because we've become aware of some extraordinary news. And I want to acknowledge our great district attorney, Mike Kane, who'll be hearing from momentarily, for all the work that he and his team do to keep the public safe. Also our county executive, Mark Polenkars, who's been a great partner of mine for many decades, and our new mayor, Sean Ryan, who's working hard to keep the city safe as well. So I'm not in Albany right now. I'll be there very shortly, but I just wanted to come and, really talk about what is amazing, because we have made history. We have made history here in Buffalo and across the state, but this is deeply personal to me. The people of Buffalo know my heart is with them, as always, even if I'm not here physically. And there's a topic that we're not hearing about it much because things are going well. You don't hear about when the planes land safely. I feel the same is true when the crime is under control and crime rates are going down. You don't hear much about it. But my point is this. We can't take that for granted. It doesn't happen because you hope it happens. It happens because there's intentional strategies and investments that I want to talk about right now. When I first came into office in 2021, crime was out of control. It was surging all over the state of New York, and places like Buffalo were literally under siege. And at the time in Buffalo, shootings had doubled. I mean, think about that. In 2 years, they had doubled, and people were anxious, afraid to walk the streets, afraid to go out, afraid to conduct their everyday lives. There was a genuine fear everywhere. But I'm here to tell you that surge is officially over. Today's shootings in Buffalo are at a 20-year low, the lowest since New York started tracking the numbers. It goes back even further, but this is as far back as we've been tracking numbers. You'll hear better numbers even than that from our local officials here. So the shootings in Buffalo are at the lowest they've been since we've been keeping track. And overall, all violent crime in Buffalo has plummeted to a 10-year low, and the numbers continue to go down. And what does that mean for people in New York? Fewer people going to the emergency room, fewer people who are injured having to go through rehab, losing time from work, the disruption to families, fewer people having to visit funeral homes, fewer people having to deal with property damage or physical assaults. And the streets just feel safer. And I want to talk about what's happening already. We're continuing in the first 3 months of this year. Shootings with injury are down 84% since 2021. I will repeat that. Shootings with injury are down 84% since 2021 and down 57% just from last year alone. So the trends are extraordinary. And these are all across our 28 GIVE communities, which are the communities that we give enhanced dollars to help them with gun violence. And across all those other areas, shootings are down 65% since 2021 and 20% from last year alone. So how did we get here? Unprecedented investments, which I'll talk about, and innovative collaborations, and just really saying that this is our priority. Public safety is the foundation of everything. You cannot have a strong economy or a vibrant place to raise families, start a business, if people are worried about crime. And so this is why this is such an incredibly incredible good news to let people know that the situation is now under control, it is stable, and you don't have to worry so much about this as you had in the past. So let's bring me back to the budget. We're in the budget process. Well known, hoping to wrap it up. But a budget is a statement of our priorities. So when you look at one of my top priorities is public safety, giving people that sense of security they deserve, it comes down to how much are you putting in your budget. So for the past 4 years, I have pushed through groundbreaking investment, more than $3 billion in public safety and police officers on the ground. And I saw what was happening. I tracked the numbers all the time. We had spikes in carjackings and retail theft and shootings. And I knew when I took office, I couldn't just say that's a local problem. Let the local governments figure that out. That's their job. I knew that if the state government stepped up in a meaningful way, meaning more dollars and more collaboration, we could do much better, and we did. So I have, as I said, a lot of respect for law enforcement, a lot of respect for prosecutors. My husband was a 30-year career prosecutor. He still reflects fondly on how much that job meant to him to be able to work day in and day out to keep the people of 17 counties safe when he was U.S. Attorney. And I knew that the answer had to start with our district attorneys. Give them the resources they need to do their jobs to prosecute crimes and keep repeat offenders from repeating crimes. Now, I didn't want to just tell the locals to do it on your own. I said, I'll put more money on the table, and I did. So, Mike Kane knows this, his predecessors know this, I quadrupled the money from the state of New York to district attorneys from $41 million in 2022 to $183 million now. And I said, use this to hire more personnel, buy equipment, train your teams, enhance your training, and also to help our DAs and local governments invest in crime-fighting measures that have really reduced our gun crimes. And for local law enforcement, our police officers, hotspot policing, focused deterrence, and street outreach. And that's why in this budget, I'm doubling down. I'm going to continue our commitment to reduce crime through these investments. And I'm fighting for record funding for gun violence prevention right now. As we speak, I want record funding again, because I will never be one to spike the football, ever. We have to say, yes, we've made progress, but if we stop these investments now and say we're done, then the criminals are aware. They know that we're taking our foot off the gas, and we start seeing the spikes in crime again, and I will not let that happen. So I want to pass new legislation as well to help crack down on 3D printed guns, that people are literally sitting in their kitchens at the table and creating weapons of mass destruction. I want to focus on that, and we have really thoughtful nation-leading legislation on that, and to also ban handguns that can be easily converted into illegal automatic machine guns. So I'm not just doubling down on investments, I'm doubling down on changing our laws and on collaborations with local police, state officials, and district attorneys. And also our network of 11 crime analysis centers, including the one right here in Erie County, is truly, again, nation-leading. People are talking about what we're doing so differently in New York, making New York one of the safest big states in America. And again, the 1-2 punch, investments and collaboration is working, and the data is proving it. Now, I served in local government for a long time. I used to hire police chiefs and police officers and went through the process in selecting a great team in my community. But I also used to think, why isn't Albany helping us more? Why didn't we get more assistance from Albany? And I'm proud that I've been able to change that dynamic and make sure that Western New York and places all across the state that it felt like they had been underinvested in by the state of New York have the access to money where, for example, right here in Erie County, upgrading law enforcement technology for them, money, $14 million for that, $3 million for the SNUG program. I truly believe in these grassroots efforts for people, some of them who have been in the system themselves. They are the best advocates, and to be able to connect directly with the young people in our streets and help them find a better path. So I'll always keep those investments strong. And we've had over 17 community projects with $2 million for Project Rise to help them as well. So we're going to continue the efforts. I'll keep the money coming, the money we gave to the DA's office, and I'm proud to say that our investment includes $36 million more for GIVE. So here we are. Think about where we were just a few short years ago, how much it has changed, but do not take that for granted. The trend could have continued up and up and up and up, and it has not. And that is why I believe that investing $3 billion from our budget process, we're in the budget process right now, has made a dramatic difference in saving lives. And I'm going to continue that collaboration and make sure that the statistics today are not an aberration, that this is how it's going to be. New York is safer and a better place to raise our families and support our children. So one crime victim is one too many. We're not stopping, but today is a day to celebrate how far we've come. And I want to thank everyone who's behind me here, all the different individuals from the DA's office and from our local police and all the staff and the professionals and the men and women on the street literally every day who are the ones who are making these numbers so extraordinary. I thank you. I thank you for making a difference. It makes me so proud to come from a place that has really made a difference in people's lives. And with that, let me bring up our next speaker, our District Attorney, Mike Kane.
Thank you, Governor. And today is a great day, not just because the Sabres won, but that's a good way to start it. I will say it's an honor to have Mayor Ryan and County Executive Poloncarz and the Governor all here today in my office. But the reason we're here is to highlight the good news. We don't often get a lot of good news, but I'm going to talk about some of it specifically in the tremendous leadership that the Governor has shown. So. And I want to commend Governor Hochul for her commitment to public safety and the public safety initiatives and her unwavering support in our efforts to combat gun violence across New York State, not just here in Erie County, but across New York State. You know, the Governor mentioned the GIVE program, and I'll tell you, it means Gun-Involved Violence Elimination. That's what it stands for. And the genius of the GIVE program is that it brings us all together. So many of our partners, some of whom are here today, members of the Buffalo Police Department, the Erie County Probation Department, the New York State Police, the New York State Parole, the Erie County Lab. So many of our partners, it enhances our efforts to collaborate together. We work so well together here in Western New York, and we couldn't do it without the help of the funding that we get through the GIVE program. In the city of Buffalo, we've experienced historically low violent crime numbers as in 2025 as compared to 2021. The shootings are down 67%. Homicides by gun violence are down 66%. That's 2025 as compared to 2021. Now, Governor Hochul is directly responsible for providing over $2 million in funding to my office through the GIVE initiative. The governor's commitment supports 10 positions in my office, including 8 prosecutors, 1 confidential criminal investigator, and 1 crime analyst. This initiative has the dual goal of being proactive in preventing gun violence before it happens, and when it does occur, my office is better equipped to hold the people accountable who committed those violent crimes. The other thing about today is it's the beginning of National Crime Victims' Rights Week, where we aim to increase awareness about the rights of crime victims and the support available through my office's Victim Witness Services Bureau and the Be Safe Domestic Violence Victim Advocacy Program. While we recognize the work of our victim advocates, I want to thank the Governor for the funding she provides to our office, again, for the Victim Witness Bureau. And finally, I'm going to mention the STRIVE program. The Governor has supported this initiative as well. STRIVE stands for Statewide Targeted Reductions in Intimate Partner Violence. It's a state-funded initiative that equips prosecutors, law enforcement, advocates, probation, and partner agencies with the training and resources and the strategic support to reduce intimate partner violence. An experienced victim advocate serving as the STRIVE program coordinator for the Erie County is based right here in my office. The coordinator, Clarissa Acosta, is here with us today. She's standing behind the mayor and the county executive. She works alongside with various police agencies, including Buffalo Police, the Erie Crime Analysis Center, and the Brave Trauma Recovery Center to identify risk of intimate partner homicide and prevent future violence. STRIVE funding also funds 2 of our victim advocate positions to comprehensively address the needs of victims through evidence-based, survivor-centered, and culturally responsible interventions. So, as the Erie County District Attorney, my top priority is protecting the people in Erie County, protecting the people in our community. And the leadership and support we receive from Governor Hochul has brought us to the point where we can talk about these historically low shootings and historically low homicides by gun violence. Last year, 2025, we had 39 homicides in Erie County, and that's a lot. But that number has never been seen before, to the point where we went back to the years where we started collecting the data, 1984, we had never seen a number as low as 39. And that was last year. At this point, in this year, 2026, we are at 7 homicides. And again, it's too many, But last year, the historically low number, at this point in the year, we were at 13. Today, we're at 7. And that's tremendous. That's great news for everybody in Erie County. And as of today, it's this trend, we're hoping this trend continues, and we're confident with the leadership of the governor and the collaboration of all the people that you see in this room, the hard work that we do every day, that it will continue, and these trends will continue. And I want to just take another minute to thank you, Governor. Appreciate your support for your commitment to public safety. And now I'm going to turn it over to the County Executive, Mark Poloncarz.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mr. District Attorney, and of course, thank you, Governor, for being here and for your investment in these crime-fighting capabilities that are truthfully making our community safer. I also want to note we're joined by our Central Police Services Commissioner, Brian Ross, who is in charge of the crime lab, the crime analysis, and the 911 call center, because this is an example of how we all work together. And what I think is important is people need to understand that the GIVE funds that were talked about, the GIVE grant, is not just the City of Buffalo, though it's very important, and the City of Buffalo Police Department receives a significant amount of money. It's also the Erie County District Attorney's Office, as the District Attorney noted, the Erie County Sheriff's Office, the Erie County Probation, but then also police departments like Amherst, Cheektowaga, Lackawanna, everyone working together to solve crimes and to prevent crimes from happening. And the numbers are, the proof is in the pudding. As the District Attorney noted, last year was the lowest numbers that had been seen on record since they started keeping the records in 1984, but it's not just a one-year blip. This has been going on for quite a number of years now due to the investment that's been coming from New York State and the other organizations that are working together, where 10 years ago they did not necessarily work together. The efforts that we see from having nonprofit organizations like SNUG or Mad Dads and others work together with the crime fighting agencies to ensure that we're preventing crimes from happening in the first place. And it's an example of the investment that the governor's made, and I want to thank her, as well as the men and women that you see behind us. These are the people that are on the street every day. They are building relationships with individuals who in the past may have committed a crime, but now they're having the conversations that are necessary to ensure that those crimes never happen in the first place. And you think about when we're talking about the reduction in a number of murders, the reduction in a number of shootings, we're talking about lives saved. Individuals who 10 years ago might not be with us, but are here today because we've been able to create as a community between the county, the state, the city, all of our other town and local partners, a way of ensuring that the crime never happens in the first place. And that's a testimony to all the work of everyone, but specifically the state for investing money. I mean, $6 million in the GIVE grant on an annual basis. That's not just a one-time. This is annually, and it has grown through the years. As I said, it's gone to other agencies, not just in the City of Buffalo, because crime doesn't necessarily know a boundary line. We need to work together to ensure that we're preventing crime, whether it's in a town or a city. So I want to thank the governor for her great work. I want to thank the men and women behind me, the teams that we have in the City of Buffalo, Erie County, as well as all of our partner agencies, because your good work is making a difference. It's improving our community, it's saving lives, and it's the kind of thing that, as the district attorney talked about, when you often talk about crime, it's the statistics that people like to talk about or the number of events that are happening, but they don't like to talk about it when it's going down. And here's an example of when it's really going down, it's making a difference, and it's creating a better life for so many people. And I want to thank the governor for her commitment to do that, and to all of our partners for their great work. And of course, one of the partners that we have in Erie County is the City of Buffalo. When it comes to the Erie County Sheriff's Office, the Erie County Probation Department, the Erie County Central Police Services, we work hand in hand with the City of Buffalo and their police department. And it's my pleasure to introduce our Mayor, Sean Ryan.
Thank you, County Executive. So thanks, everyone, for being here today to celebrate good news. We're here to say bad things didn't happen. Usually that doesn't get a room full of press, but we're happy to be here today. And I'd like to acknowledge my Deputy Mayor, Gino Russi, who is in charge of public safety. Gino, thanks for the work you do. And to the brave men and women from the Buffalo Police Department, thank you for what you do. So I was in Albany, for over a dozen years before I became mayor. And only under Governor Hochul's leadership did our state focus on public safety change. So under Governor Hochul's leadership, we saw more money coming into the district attorney's office. We saw the creation and strengthening of programs like Strive, like Rise, like Give, things that now we're used to. But we're only used to them because of the changes that Governor Hochul brought in. I'd be here to tell you that there was skepticism in the Assembly and in the Senate about the effectiveness of these types of programs, but the proof is here. The statistics are clear. So I thank Governor Hochul for her leadership on that. Public safety is something that you just can't do it for a few days and then say, well, we're on to something else. So these are continual programs. The funding is coming year after year. All the trends are saying we're going in the right direction. We in the city of Buffalo, we are engaged in transparency when it comes to public safety. We put up our gun violence statistics each month, whether it's been a good month or a bad month, but overall it's been good news. So year-to-date gun violence stats in Buffalo, shooting incidents down 37%, shooting deaths down 50% from last year. We hope this trend continues, but hope is not a strategy, but the programs that the governor has laid out year after year, that is a strategy to keep our to keep our crime rate down. But it's everything from the gun laws that were introduced to the ban on assault weapons, down to the ghost gun initiatives, to the 3D printers. So really have to admire the governor's tenacity on this. And all of this comes together, right? Whether it's the red flag laws, the data-driven deployment of officers. But what really is working is this non-stop seamless coordination from the state to the county, to the district attorney, to the local police forces you see together. Everyone's working together on this problem, and this coordination has really, really given dividends. So once again, thank you to my partners in government, and thank you to Governor Hochul for her continual focus and leadership on these programs. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you very much, thank you. All right.
We're going to be very quick for back to Albany. We're going to take some on-topic questions on public safety and today's announcement. Just on the topic of public safety, it's great that numbers are going down, and certainly this is a good thing for everyone. Yet we're talking about reoffenders, and we're just kind of not addressing the elephant in the room here. Just last week we saw two Buffalo police officers kind of stumble upon an armed robbery in progress, and the person who's alleged to have committed this crime is somebody who just spent 10, 12 years in jail, in prison. So how do we stop the reoffenders from offending?
Well, we talked about, first of all, we changed our bail laws, we changed our discovery laws, and so I've made a lot of changes in just the laws that govern the administration of the criminal justice system. Now, I'm not saying that we can stop every single crime, and that situation is abhorrent. Clearly, an individual who does their time shows that the system worked on the front end, correct? I mean, they were committed crimes, they were prosecuted, they served, almost or a decade in jail, and then they come out. And I guess the question is how you know that person is going to reoffend. But the system up until that point clearly worked. That person was not on the streets committing crime for 10 years. They were apprehended, they were prosecuted, and they did time in jail. And if there's any other comments from local officials who have more details on that, happy to let you.
Thank you, Governor. I would just echo the governor's comments. I think that, we are never going to prevent all crime. I mean, I just talked about the numbers of homicides that have gone down. 39 was a historically low number, and we're already way below that. We're at the pace, we're at below halfway point of the pace from last year. So we're at 7. Last year we were at 13. I shouldn't have done the math there. That's actually just a little bit higher than halfway point. But I mean, we're just not going to eliminate all crime, and there are certain people that we can take off the street and eliminate them from committing crimes in the future. But when they get out, they're at liberty to do what they want. And unfortunately, I think that's a problem that we recognize. But you shouldn't lose track of the incredible progress that we're making.
You mentioned.
I just have one thing, because crime has been in existence since Cain and Abel. But one of the things that we do locally, and the state does, is they have a reentry program. If you go over on West Eagle, where the sheriff's office is there, you'll see a sign that talks about reentry, and that's for the individuals that are leaving the holding center, that are leaving the correctional facility, that are leaving state facilities, to give them the resources that they need so that they can reenter as a productive citizen. Not every individual takes advantage of it. If they did, we're here to help. So the programs are there. It's just a matter of individuals taking advantage of it.
With that in mind, on the back end, as you mentioned, Governor, are there changes to the parole system that you'd hope to see in this budget or would advocate for in the future?
Well, we look at the situation if we start to see a trend, but again, you're going to always find situations where people are frustrated because someone is out there who they feel should still be incarcerated. I get that, and one crime is one crime too many. So looking at the parole laws, we can certainly do that. We also ask for a parole board and others to be administering the laws that are in place and to do that correctly based on their judgment. They do the best they can, and by and large, the system works. Do people sometimes fall through the system and there's a case you can point to and say, this is a failure? Yes, it's a failure, but it's not an indictment on the entire system. But always willing to look at any proposed changes.
And keeping recency bias in mind here, we had 3 shootings in the Schiller Park neighborhood just last week. How are you planning to get these numbers and this impact into communities like that aren't necessarily seeing these improvements and they're still concerned for safety?
I think it's always about investing in the communities, and whether people have good jobs and good education and a better outcome where they don't feel that the streets is the only life for them. That's why we're investing so much in the violence disruptor programs. I think that's making a real difference. And again, it goes to the situation I just mentioned. I would like to see fewer crimes. I'd like to see no crimes. And I will always strive to that point. That's why I'm not saying mission accomplished. But does anybody, any specific comments on that case? But
Well, I just note it's not just crime, that investment. The governor in her last year's budget put $12 million in for poverty addressing in the city of Buffalo alone. And the county is investing that through the Community Action Organization. And what you're seeing when you improve people's lives, there's less of a chance that they're actually going to involve themselves in crime. So we're not just talking about the $6 million for GIVE and the other programs. There's $12 million just for the city of Buffalo alone to reduce poverty. And watch my State of the County on Thursday. The numbers prove it's working.
All right, we're going to
It's a
take
teaser.
a quick pause right there. We'll excuse our guests.
All right. Hey, thanks. Good to see you, Sean. Good to see you. All right, thanks for coming. Mark. Thanks for coming. Hey, Gino, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you. All right, thanks for doing it. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, good. Save the stamp, Mark. All right. Close it up. All right, before I get started taking questions, I want to shine a spotlight on another issue. Starting today, the Trump administration will start paying back businesses the money that they illegally took from them under a tariff scheme that the Supreme Court has struck down. They're going to be paying back more than $166 billion they collected in illegal tariffs. I would say this. We've said all along from the beginning the Trump tariffs were illegal, but they had to continue until the Supreme Court said no, they never should have been in place from the very beginning. Those tariffs were nothing more than a tax on the American people. The American people who are begging for relief from the cost of inflation, the cost of gasoline going up now, and then they had to deal with the effects of the Trump administration imposed tariffs that made everything cost higher. So starting today, businesses can begin submitting documentation to reclaim the money they paid, and that's an important first step. But remember, everyday New Yorkers also paid the price. It's not just a business that can show on a ledger that they paid this tariff to this entity. $13.5 billion is the additional cost that has been imposed on New Yorkers alone because of the Trump tariffs, and that's about $1,700 per the average family. So I'm not going to stop fighting for those families to get relief. Everyday New Yorkers, farmers and families, like I said, buying groceries, going about their lives, are paying more because of an illegal tariff scheme. And so I'm going to continue in this day when they're talking about relief for the businesses. That is all good. It never should have happened. It wouldn't happen if it wasn't for the Supreme Court mandating this. This is not done voluntarily by the Trump administration, but they still owe New York families $1,700. They deserve their money back, and we're going to continue fighting for that, and we're in court to secure that as well. So I just wanted to put that out there today.
Okay, we're short on time. We have a couple for all topics. We'll start with Rob.
Yeah, starting with the budget, you mentioned you're heading back to Albany. We've got our 5th budget extender being passed today. Speaking to urgency, what are the things that are holding things up, and is this going to be the last extender, ideally?
I'm not going to say whether something's the last extender. I've been hoping we'd be done since April 1st. But I'm not walking back from, I believe, the priorities that New Yorkers deserve to have. The majority of them focused on affordability. I am not walking back from my commitment to do whatever I can in my power with the legislature and the people of New York who want to have a relief from some of the highest auto insurance premiums in America. We should not accept that. And people before me should have questioned why we're putting up with this. But I'll be that person. I am that person. And I'm not stopping until we get real relief in that space. We'll look at reforms with the insurance industry. We'll look at a whole host of issues. But I want to follow the model of other states that have successfully driven down costs. And all I know is that New Yorkers will really appreciate that, from firefighters, localities, the costs of Erie County and the city of Buffalo, because of the increases in car insurance that they have to pay on all their emergency vehicles, their own vehicles for senior vans and recreation vans and snow plows and buildings and grounds, and the people are filling the potholes. That is all costing extra because of the situation. We have the laws that are out of control in New York. So I'm going to keep focusing on that. I'm focusing on meaningful immigration reform that I literally proposed back in January. I'd hoped to have this done before the budget, but Albany being Albany, what I thought was a very solid, position that took us to a far better place when it comes to getting ICE under control. And on that topic, I want justice for the family of Mr. Shah Alam, who was abandoned by his federal caregivers in a way that it was so callous and shocks the conscience of everyone. I want justice for him. And part of my immigration plan would at least allow there to be a right to address grievances when federal agents have gone out of control and overstepped the bounds. So that family, which is a large family, I met 2 of the sons and spent time with his widow, deserved to at least have their day in court to seek redress there as well. So my plan would have done that. My plan in January would have managed that. So those are 2 areas. I also need to make some reforms to the environmental laws, which is, I'd love to keep on the schedule we set forth in 2019, but what a different world that was. I've laid out all the reasons why we have to make some changes because of a judge insisting that we follow the law right now, despite the fact that everything has changed. So those are some of the areas I'm going to keep focusing on. But also, in that budget, we've got $4.5 billion for childcare. I want to make life more affordable here in West New York and across the state by taking this burden off of families. I've got changes, as I mentioned, on the laws related to the manufacture of guns illegally in people's homes. We have social media changes. We don't talk about those very much, but I want to make more changes to protect our children, continuing our nation-leading efforts. So I talk about all this because our budget has so much that's good for New Yorkers. I am anxious to get this done on a timetable that allows for me to continue achieving the priorities that I know New Yorkers want me to fight for.
Governor, on the issue of the budget, we keep passing these extenders, as Rob mentioned, yet we've got municipalities like Buffalo waiting to find out how much money they'll actually get from your budget. Can you guarantee that there will be $40 million in the budget for Buffalo?
Yes.
Mayor Sean Ryan has been very vocal.
And so one or two more. Yeah.
Sorry, Alex. Next Level President Chris Summers has called the New York State prison system a quote full systemic emergency, and sent a letter suggesting some adjustments to the HALT Act, spending shoe eligibility, etc. Have you made any consideration to help make some changes to the HALT Act based on what his letter says?
Let me say this. Our prison system, it's a challenging place. A prison system is a complicated, challenging place. Lay on top of that an unprecedented, illegal strike that brought the system to its knees, when thousands of people who took an oath of office to protect the incarcerated population and by extension, their communities, walked off the jobs. I'm still paying for that. We are spending an enormous amount of money to backfill the people who left their jobs, left the people unprotected, left not just the incarcerated population, but fellow union workers who are working in the infirmary or working in the kitchens and others who had non-law enforcement roles. They left them unprotected. And I'll never get over that, by the way. That was the lowest of the low, that people would do that. So I digress a little bit, but we still don't have the full number of workers I want to have in there. The programs that were envisioned under the HALT law, which also took some of the steam out of a volatile situation, more programming and learning initiatives and diversions for the population just to calm the environment down. We can't do those until we're fully staffed. And I think that's adding to some of the pressure. So anybody knows someone who wants to be a corrections officer? We've worked on the payments. We've worked on reducing the age requirements from 21 to 18 now, so we can open a larger population. Even in terms, and I understand what he's saying. I mean, I am not satisfied with the conditions within our prison. I will say that right now. And the corrections officers do some of the hardest work in our entire state, and I respect them. I just feel bad for the ones who are left behind because they're abandoned by others who made those who stayed their jobs much harder, but also even like illegal contraband. You know, we are making progress in finding new ways to examine the letters that come in. I mean, the letters literally come in, and people have, I'm not sure how they do it, but somehow they have drugs embedded in the letters. They can roll up the mail and smoke it. So we have to now figure out a way that we can stop that, and we're trying to work on, we've rolled out mail scanners to all the facilities last year. It allows us to find these hazardous or illegal substances before they go in. So contraband's down 20% over the last year. Seizures of illegal weapons in the jails, prisons is down 26%. And assaults on our staff are down 14%. I'm not saying the situation is acceptable. I'm saying that progress has been made in all the areas that they raised to us as being a real challenge for them. I want to make it work, and I'm continuing to be vested in that.
Jonathan, Jim, we got to get out of here.
We got to go.
Governor, lawmakers have made clear that they're not on board with the probable cause standard in your immigration bill. So what are you telling them? Why is that the best option, and is there room to negotiate?
Listen, I'm talking about all of this. I really am. I mean, we're not done with this. I gave out a baseline of what I think is essential for the immigration package. Again, redress for families, like we saw a family shattered here in Buffalo, and I think they should have redress in court. I think ICE should be kept from going to sensitive locations. They should not be able to go to schools and childcare centers and community centers and places of worship. I'm willing to look at polling places on that as well, because that is the fear of many individuals, that ICE agents will be deployed at polling places in black and brown communities throughout our country, and there'll be a deterrent to people voting. It'll be a way to harass individuals. So I'm not done with it, but we should be pretty close to finalizing what we're all striving for, which is to keep ICE under control in our state. And I have said that I do not believe that ICE, and this is different than what I had proposed in January even, I don't believe that ICE should be providing information to law enforcement when it comes to civil infractions or violations of civil laws. They should not be standing at DWI stops with local law enforcement. And that is part of my local cops, local crimes initiative, which says I want local law enforcement, and we're funding them at $3 billion a year. I don't want them working as part-time ICE agents. This agency has $85 billion. They have enough money to do what they're doing, and I wish they'd take a hike and just focus on the worst of the worst, the baddest of the bad, as President Trump promised. They did not say they're going after the local pizza delivery guy in Western New York, but that's what they're doing. So I have a lot of outrage associated with this. I want to scale it back. I want to limit the coordination when it comes to non-criminal cases, but I'm willing to work on the specific language.
Quickly, Jim, last question.
Governor, last night, Canal Side had a massive crowd gathering for the watch party.
Yes, they did.
Is this part of your vision of how you want to see Canal Side evolve and grow?
Absolutely, Jim. I am so excited. I'm so excited about what is happening, the vitality, the excitement, the energy of bringing people downtown. We've made significant investments in Canal Side, starting before my time, but really ratcheting up during my time. I want to see all the properties down there vibrant, occupied, finished, bring housing down there, but also I think this is a great showcase for the city of Buffalo. And I'm looking forward to also hosting a lot of fan festivals during the World Cup matches, which everyone is very excited about. And I've announced that for bars that want to be open during the off hours for that, separate from Canal Side, that they can have more flexibility. So I want to get that done as well, so we can have people go to their local, although they're open. How late are the bars open in Buffalo still? Is it 4? It's still 4, yeah, it was always 4, yeah. I haven't seen 4 a.m. in a little while, but in other parts of our state, it's midnight or 2 a.m., and so I want to make sure that all of our bars and restaurants are open to the fans who want to watch the matches. So Jim, this is just the beginning. This is a new era of energy, and as we continue through the playoffs, right through the big one, I'm excited about continuing to host excited Western New Yorkers and people from all over who want to be part of the energy of Buffalo. So life is good. We're doing well here. Congratulations.
Can you just clarify really quick about the HALT Act? Are you planning to work with the state legislature here to make changes, or is that not on the table
It's
anymore?
not on the table right now. We have